basically.
Antonio, just curious about Brock Bowers. We haven't seen him out there in practice for a few weeks, missed a couple.
Yep.
Are you guys still pretty comfortable that he's going to be able to be out there on Sunday against Chargers?
Yeah, I feel really good about that, to be honest. Just again, I'm gonna go back to it, protecting a young guy that, sometimes you get in the league, you gotta be smart. Sometimes you gotta protect them from themselves. So that's all it is.
Coach, you're known for having a pretty good pulse on the team. How would you assess how the team feels right now?
Are you talking physically, mentally, emotionally? All but okay, good. I think physically we're there. These guys had a lot, especially for our vets. They've had quite a few days off now. We've gotten after it the last 2 days. We had pads on yesterday. Pretty good day in pads. We'll be smart because we're getting closer. 10 days from game day. But I think physically we're pretty good. I think we'll be about as healthy as you could be for a team going to week one. Mentally, I think these guys are still highly motivated, dialed into what we're doing. I think our coordinator's done a really good job throughout OTAs, minicamp, and then obviously training camp and preseason of just kind of spoon-feeding our guys, right? Getting them comfortable, building confidence, building trust within the scheme and the concepts that we're running, and allowing guys to make plays. And now that'll start to, dial up even a little bit more. And I think emotionally, man, you got a bunch of guys that's highly motivated, want to go out there and play and put some good product on the field.
I know you've been part of putting a team together as an assistant coach, but as the head coach, now having looked at the big picture and the math of it all and how those puzzle pieces fit, how was that process for you?
It was good. I mean, Telesco, again, a lot of experience there. Done the last 11 plus years at another organization, but I think just sitting there with him, JoJo, Champ, and just kind of seeing the big picture things, not I always use the word Band-Aid, just not sitting there plugging things and just really looking at the growth and development of our team and doing what's best for the Raiders, not just now, but the immediate future, right? So we know that we got to, it's a win-now business, but I think it's also important when you look at our team, you see a lot of youthful, energetic players there that have a lot of potential. And it's up to our coaches to unlock that and those players to keep going forward. But it was really easy and pretty seamless with Telesco, to be honest with you. And I think to the players' credit, they went out there and competed. So, you guys all saw what we saw in the preseason, and those guys were rewarded by being on the roster.
Talking about youthful guys, with a lot of potential, Amari Gainer, can you just, as a former NFL linebacker, can you evaluate his play style, and what advice do you give him also being an undrafted linebacker?
Yeah, no, listen, when he came in the door day one, it was like, wow, this is a pretty sucker here now. He looks good, and you saw the movement with him in college from Florida State to North Carolina. But there was always like, man, there's more to him. And I think the best thing that happened for him was that last game. He went out there and played 90-plus snaps, 70-plus on defense and another 15 or so on special teams. And all you saw throughout the game, and we've been seeing all preseason, but the guy just get better and better. But more importantly, somebody that was playing his heart out. And it meant something to him. So even that last play where the Niners are throwing the ball around, if you look at it, he's on the ground 3 times tackling people. And when the ball ends up at the 2-yard line, he's right there finishing it. So I thought he did an excellent job. He's put himself in position, not just at linebacker, but on special teams to be one of the core guys for us. There's still some development there at the linebacker position that, will take place over the course of the season, but he gives us a lot of flexibility because of what he's able to do both on the line of scrimmage, off the ball linebacker, and special teams.
Antonio, you guys signed Darnay Holmes yesterday. I know you used to play for Patrick Graham Giants. What did you see from him that made you guys want to bring him in?
Well, actually, even go further than that. I've known Darnay since he was 13. Coached him on the 7-on-7 team when he was a freshman. So know his father, know his family well, followed him throughout his career, spoke to him throughout his college process. So Patrick was very familiar with him. And, you look through that 53-man roster, and I know everybody saw our roster, and like, okay, you're all said and done, but, it's always about getting better. And that was a great opportunity. We had Nate Hobbs there at the star, nickel position, and Darnay's played a lot of football. He's been productive as well, so that gives us depth. Really good special teams player and a good pro.
For those guys you just signed this week, how much ramp-up time do you think that they need before they're going to be effective for you out there on Sundays?
Yeah, I think that's all still to be seen and watched, I guess, in practice. Today will be a good opportunity to go out there and see them. It'll be dialed back a little bit. But more importantly, we got to get them up to speed with just our scheme, how we do things here as a Raider. But they have skill sets that obviously, when you make claims, you see something, right? And I don't think we make claims to put guys on the bench. So obviously we see something where they can help us. When is it? Is it immediate future? Is it week 1, week 4? I don't know. We're not going to rush them out there and do it because it's going to look bad on us and them. But I think it's more importantly just to get them up to speed of how we do things.
You look at And his alignment, his snap counts at various positions, he's played all over the field, obviously. Does that kind of seamlessly fit into what you're looking for from that backup cornerback?
Yeah, position flex. I mean, that's key for us, right? Really, the only guy we got that can go inside, outside, or outside, inside is Nate Hobbs. So when you can add another player like that, Isaiah Palomalo does it as well from the safety position. You see him a little bit at the nickel position. You've seen that, obviously, in the preseason. So just the more flexibility you can get, the better it is for our team. It makes us a better overall unit.
Thomas Harper was a guy that also played all over the field at Notre Dame. He also played for Al Goldman, who kind of runs an NFL defense there in South Bend. What kind of flexibility does he bring to the table?
Yeah, I like his play style. What I saw on film was a guy with a burst, aggressiveness, kind of controlling the back end as a young player. Watched him in college. You just saw a guy each and every week get better in the preseason. And then, again, whatever you can do to get keep building depth in every room, especially in the secondary for us, is critical. But he does have a skill set to play both safety and that nickel position.
What's the biggest challenge as a coach during these 2 weeks between games?
Too much time, overthinking it, trying to throw the whole playbook and, creating scenarios and chasing ghosts, chasing waterfalls, is like I like to tell our guys. But that won't be the case with us. Less is more.
Last year, when you took over, there were some players who really took a step up. Like I was thinking, like a Malcolm Kuntz, for example. I'm wondering this year, do you have an eye on a player who you think is just going to take that extra leap that probably didn't, start off too well last year?
Yeah, I don't want to set the stage too high for him, but I think he's already done it. Trey Tucker. I think you saw it in the preseason. We saw it in OTAs, in minicamp. It just been steady Eddie. And then he got in the preseason, and he did exactly what we've been seeing in practice. And if he can continue that's going to help us big time because, obviously he can run by a lot of corners and safeties in this league. And we know we're going to get with Devontae and Brock and Big Mike and Jacoby. We know we're going to get with the rest of our skill players. But I think, man, when you got a guy that can just, 4-2 and create those explosive plays, that makes those DBs back up a little bit more. You're going to play him a little differently than you play everybody else.
He also showed in special teams that he can return. But now you also have Tyreek, so how does that dynamic?
Yeah, just, two's good. One is cool, two's better. So, listen, to be honest, what McAllister's role on offense is still to be determined, but we know what he can do. We all seen that, and he did that even as a kickoff returner. So I think he's going to be a really good job. Our staff is doing a really good job, especially Tom McMahon, of finding the right spot to put these gentlemen in. And we got to be smart, right? Trey Tucker is one of our starting receivers. So McAllister has a role. I don't know, is it this guy this week? Is it that guy? Is it the hot hand? But, I think both guys have done an outstanding job now in the return game. I think we've seen that both as punt returners and McAllister, punt return and kickoff return.
You praised Gardner's, I think you said personality, free spirit, ever since the first moment he came in here, but now you've gotten more time to know him over the full summer. Anything surprise you about him, or just what stands out about getting to know him?
Yeah, he's a football junkie. We always talk about Max and Christian about being the first guys in the building, but he's not too far behind. And he stays late, and he's done a lot of things without a lot of hype and things that we talk about throughout the building. That's starting to show up a little bit. And I think our team is really taking a notice of that. And obviously, since we named him the starting quarterback, he's kind of taken on that role with our skill position players and our O-line. So it's been good to see in the building.
You talked about that time between games. Players have a couple days off for the first time, really, in training camp. I guess, what do you want from them? Do you want them to get away from football? Do you want them to keep focusing on it? I guess, what is your message to them?
Well, our vets are kind of used to it. Like I said, they just had 4 days off. They didn't play in the game. So if you go back, that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They come in Monday for a little bit. So they have 4 days there. Practice 3 days, another 4 days off. Like I said, we should be fresh. What I expect for them is what we talk about. It's 10 days before the game. And this is an important game for us. We want to get off to a fast start. We're on the road. It's a divisional foe. We can take time off later down the road. Not right now. So they'll be in the building. I expect them in the building.
Is there still a window open for Jackson Powers Johnson to get on the field on Sunday against the Chargers?
Well, I think that still be the same. 4 practices or so, 5. So got to get him in football shape.
What have you seen from him?
Powerful. Everything we saw in the draft. Everything we saw when we were scouting him and looking at him on film. He's powerful, strong, tough, good personality, fits that room, kind of lighting that room up. It's good to see that part. I think he's coming out of his shell even more. It's hard and difficult when you're not around your teammates and you're not there in the trenches with them. But having them at practice has been a plus. We talk about the depth at our O-line. That was, I thought, a weakness last year for us. I think it's a strength for us. Feel really good about the guys that's backing up some of our starters.
Coach, has the team named the captains, and who are they?
Yeah, we haven't named captains. That'll be next week.
Throughout the course of the preseason, you guys did a lot of passing as you were working on the quarterbacks and who was going to be that. But what about the running backs and ramping them up, getting them ready for the Chargers? Is that kind of an emphasis right now?
Yeah, that's why we had pads on yesterday to kind of get after it a little bit. Again, when you got a quarterback battle, kind of tough. It makes it tough to do other things. But I thought we picked and chose our days in training camp. But that's going to be an important part of our game. Not that because AP likes running the ball, no, because running the ball is effective for us as well. And that opens up play pass and everything for our wide receivers and our offense. So what I like, what we've been seeing with our running backs, I think Zamir has his legs underneath him. I mean, big, powerful man, and bigger than he was last year, more explosive, faster, it looks like. And then, Alex Madison, Dylan, all those guys, Amir, they've all kind of got a role within the offense. But to be honest, early downs, a lot of number 3. That's what I expect to see.
Shuffle that defensive tackle a little bit, signing Jonah Lulu from the Colts and releasing Byron Young. What went into that decision to kind of add him from the Colts? What did you guys
Yeah, Jonah was here at our local pro day, and, man, I liked him. I mean, I'm just a little disappointed we didn't get a chance to draft him. But you watch, you just look at your roster, you look at everybody else, you look at the waiver wire, and, you make a decision. And we felt, Jonah gives us some more depth and some, a little bit more juice at the D-line room.
Coach, what are you expecting from Devon Diablo and Robert Spillane this season?
Yeah, love linebackers, right? Love linebackers. I like the same thing, man. I thought last year, big growth with those two guys. Career year for both players, right? And they got to take it up to another notch. At the end of the day, our defense runs through our linebackers. I know a lot of talk is about Max Crosby and our D-line, but listen, the brains of the operation is Robert Spillane, okay? And Diablo, now in year 4, playing linebacker, looks like a linebacker, moves like a linebacker, talks like a linebacker. And he understands this is a big year for him, right? Everybody's expecting big things for him, but the good part about it, they don't have to do it by themselves. They got a good front in front of them. The calls come in, they can communicate. What I love to see by them two guys is just their ownership now. Like it's clear cut about who's running the show on our defense, and it's our linebackers.
Coach, to that point, Spillane had a career high in interceptions last year. Just seemed like that was an area his game took a step forward. Why do you think that is, and are you expecting more of the same this season?
Yeah, a little biased comment here. I was his linebacker coach too, but at the time, but literally that was one of the things that we talked about when we signed him. Was working on it, and really all off season, myself, him, and the rest of the linebackers, we worked on a lot of just being twitchy, vision on the quarterback, just not wasting steps, being more efficient in our movement, and I think that's what you really saw from Spill. He sees it, he believes it, he runs the line, and 2 of those interceptions came on just that, right? Seeing and believing and running the line. Both sides of these quarterbacks, there's a little hitch right there, and if you can catch them, you can make a play. But I think he really put an emphasis on that because he wanted to be a complete linebacker. He's a run-stop guy, he's an early down guy, and he didn't like that. I didn't like that for him either. And that was something we worked on the entire offseason, and credit to him, it showed up in the games.
What's the next step for him coming up?
Repeating consistency, just like our team.
That's good.
Thank you. See you guys.